back on the naturopath from New Zealand. Thank you for coming back. SIBO testing, breath testing, are they accurate tests? Well, I stopped doing breath testing several years ago. In fact, because of that reason, I found that the test results weren't really that great. They didn't give me that much useful information at all, to be honest. I found far superior information doing comprehensive stool analysis, looking at a wider range of parameters, and also in particular spending more time talking to the patient about their lifestyle and their diet. I found that far superior in terms of outcome than actually doing a test with SIBO for the patient and treating off the test. Okay. Now, there's some really good information online. Chris Kresser, the acupuncturist from the States, is a doctor I've always had a huge amount of respect for. If you look at the CresserInstitute.com, you can read about the SIBO tests. In fact, I might put a link from the Cresser Institute in the description box so you can click on it and read that. And the article is excellent because it explains about my fears about the false positives and the false negatives for the test. It also explains there's currently no test for SIFO or small intestinal fungal overgrowth. Now, I know several clients I've seen have had Candida issues in the small bowel. We've seen that by the symptoms that they were producing, but no test can validate that. So, and that can again throw a false spotlight on SIBO. So you can get false readings because of, mixed sort of bacteria fungal issues you've got in the small bowel. So sure, the high-thane and medrogen test, the methane and hydrogen test for many naturopathic docs particularly is still a go-to for SIBO, but I don't really find the accuracy there with most labs. I just find the results not really supportive in terms of how I'm going to work with that client. When I did first initially use a lot of SIBO breath tests and work directly off them, I really didn't find that much difference at all compared to how I would treat the patient without the test results. When you have clinical experience, years of clinical experience, you don't generally need a lot of tests because you can usually work out what's wrong with people, okay, by what they tell you, by the subjective symptoms and the objective symptoms. Check out my other video I made, I think it was last week, on the difference between signs and symptoms. So naturopaths in particular are very interested in symptoms, but also signs. Doctors are more interested in signs. But what the patient tells me is very important. But also how I filter that information in my mind and work out what's valid for the case and what's not is even more important. So clinical experience and observations, good clinical observations, in my opinion, generally override many of these types of GI tests that you can do. And the outcomes can be fantastic. So if you're watching this and you've got SIBO, find a doctor who's got plenty of clinical experience and let him or her guide you through a protocol, particularly one that's very gentle to start with and builds up. Okay. If you see someone and they've got crazy ideas or have weird protocols or start talking about cures or things like that, or this test will guarantee to, diagnose you and then I can cure you with this, you need to keep away from those kind of cowboys out there, because there are some weird people out there that claiming to cure any kind of thing on 2 legs or 4 legs or whatever. So yeah, there you have it. SIBO tests, I'm not sure. I don't really think that we're yet at that point with SIBO testing, unlike comprehensive stool testing, where we're going to get a very high quality report that's going to be outstanding time after time in the clinic. So up to you. I put my money on the comprehensive stool test over the SIBO test any day. Thanks for tuning in.